Used to hearing the phrase, "Oh, you so messy," that I believe we really don't take time to listen to what's being said. Is the person really messy, or is this a toxic relationship? I'm wondering about it. Let's talk about it. Thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel, Ask Lois the Relatable Therapist. My name is Lois Godot, and this channel is all about promoting positive relationships. And I get my inspiration from YouTube channels, I get it from reality TV, podcasts, or anything else that I think is going to help me help you to have positive relationships. And after we talk about it, I do what I call, so what can we learn from this? And I talk about how we can relate whatever's happening in this episode to real life. So stay tuned. Halfway through, we'll talk about how this relates to you and your life. So, yeah, I hear that phrase all the time. You just so messy. Ooh, this person is so messy. But a lot of times it's not that they're messy, is that this is a toxic relationship. And we're going to talk about that today. But before I go any further, let me do my disclaimer that this video is protected under the Fair Use Act, copyright 107 of the Copyright Act in 1976. And so today, what we're doing is we're using this for criticism, and we're commenting and actually doing some teaching with this video. So I want to talk about Married to Medicine. I watched season 10, the reunion episode, number 2. And as I was watching it, I kept saying, this looks eerie familiar. This looks familiar, what was going on in the scene. I kept saying, this looks familiar. And then it dawned on me. This reminds me of Mean Girls. I don't know if any of you saw it, if you had a teenager like I did. I think it was 2004, where Lindsay Lohan, she was in this movie about Mean Girls. And in that movie, it was about social cliques and social and bullying, and how they damaged each other with the words that they were saying, and they were tearing each other down, and they were cutthroat, and they were backstabbing, and they were manipulative. I was like, that's what's going on in season 10. Season 10 of the Married to Medicine, all they do is backstab. All they do is the same thing that these Mean Girls were doing. And they had what they called a burn book. And it was a book that was filled with nasty rumors, and it was about the student and the faculty. But I'm listening to season 10, and it's like, wow, they have a burn book where they're talking about each other, bringing out nasty rumors and things that's been said. And I know a lot of people will say, well, this is reality TV, and that's how they get their ratings. And I understand all of that. But when Married to Medicine first started, the whole thrust of this particular reality TV was to show Black women uplifting each other and how they were professional. But it seems like as it goes on and on, they're tearing each other down more than the Real Housewives. They tearing each other down, and they're on their Twitter and they're on their YouTube, and they're saying the nastiest things about each other. So let me show you the people that we're talking about. So here we have, is this toxic friendships or Mean Girls? And really, is it toxic friendship, or are they really just nasty? And so here you have Sweet Tea. She's in the middle, the top middle, and she's joined this group of women. And so you have Simone and Toya and Quad and Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie, and now Phaedra has joined in the group. And so just like in that movie, Mean Girls, they told her to watch your back because they knew that some of these girls were really mean. And so for Sweet Tea, she's the naive person in this group. She just started. She married to Dr. Greg. She married him. And it's like ever since she stepped onto the stage, stepped onto the filming, all they're doing is just talking about it, and are talking about it behind her back, to the point that it just overwhelms her. It's just overwhelming her. And it seems like there's a hierarchy of who's going to be at the top of the ladder. It's like the nastier we can be, the more we can talk about each other, that's the higher, like the queen bee at the top. And so as I was looking at that, I said, you know what? They keep saying, oh, you messy, but these are toxic friendship, toxic relationships. And again, I know that this is reality TV and I know that they're trying to get ratings, but it's just going beyond. It's just going beyond. I remember when I did a video and with one person that was on reality TV. It was for Monique, and she was the Real Housewives, and she was saying that it gave her PTSD. All of the lies that were said, and how she would go to work every day. I called it workplace stress because you're going to work and you have to constantly hear this over and over, and people just tearing down your character, and they're just berating you and just tearing you down. That could really get to you. And so she realized that, you know what, this was a toxic situation. So she had to get out of it. And so sometimes we don't think of friendships as toxic. We think about relationships as toxic. People will call somebody narcissist. Sometimes they call them narcissists. And they really aren't a narcissist. They're just mean and nasty and evil. But everybody calls everybody a narcissist now. But just like with relationships, you can have toxic friendships. And there are some ways for you to know if this is a toxic friendship. And I just want to go over some ways you can know if you're in a toxic friendship. And as I go through this, we're going to talk about a little bit about Married to Medicine and some of the things that they've been doing to show that this is toxic friendships on here. One way you can know is then when it's the competitiveness, when they are competitive. Friends who turn everything into a competition. And as we look at Married to Medicine, you know, about the bag that you have, the clothes that you have, how much money you have. I mean, it's like everything is a competition. Even when they're throwing parties, how well your party was over my party, you know, it's just crazy that it's everything is about competition. You know, how well you look, even for the reunion, whose clothes look the best. Everything is a competition. Another way you can tell is that they lack empathy, lacking empathy for one another. And Sweet Tea, when she came on and she was saying she had endometriosis, and Dr. Heavenly was sitting there just dogging her on her YouTube channel. And that's something that's, you know, as a woman, when a woman has an issue, you may not have that same issue, but as a woman, you know, women have issues. And as a doctor, you would think that she wouldn't be just dragging this woman and just talking about her. And that really hurt Sweet Tea. That really hurt her. And so when we're looking at that, one way to know that these are toxic relationships, when they have no empathy for one another. Even Dr. Simone, when Quad, she was talking about Quad's niece dying. And she's just going on like she's telling a story. And Quad is saying, Simone, she's trying to get her attention. Like, I don't want you to say anything about this. And then after Simone just bursts out and just start talking about it, Quad is sitting there crying, no empathy, no let me come hug you. I am so sorry. No empathy, just lacking empathy. And so that's one way to know that this is a toxic relationship where you feel like you're in an emotional black hole and no one cares about your feelings. This is a toxic friendship here, toxic relationship. And then another one is like you withhold support, not supporting one another. And that was one of Quad's biggest concerns, is that she said she pulls back from the women in this group because she don't feel supported by the women in this group. And did they support her? Nope. They didn't support her. They talked about it, even to the point that they kicked her off of I think the winery. They were at the winery. They told her she had to go home. Oh my, talk about embarrassed and hurt. No empathy, nobody supported. It was all about me, 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 me. What you did to me, what you did to me. And this is how I felt that you did to me. And holding on to things and not being able to let them go. And it was funny to me that they wanted Quad to let things go, but then they couldn't let things go. Another one about the support is when, and this is the thing that just really, and I saw a lot of people commenting, you know, on Carlos's page. Here, Dr. Jackie said something negative about Black women. Instead of her owning it, because they brought it out at the reunion, they were talking about it, some kind of way she flipped it. And now it was like, well, who told it? What difference does it make who told it? You said it. What difference does it make who told it? So we stopped talking about what she said. And now Quad again, they villainized her. Like, you must have said this. You must have put the clip out. It doesn't, the clip was already out there. Then they said that, you know, Buffy put the clip out there. Then maybe Mariah put the clip out there. Again, it doesn't matter who put the clip out there. It was on Dr. Heavenly's show. You said it, and you're not taking ownership again. It's like, let's feel sorry for her because, you know, she's a doctor. She does good. You can do good and say some nasty things too. Two things can't exist at one time. You help women, and you also said some hurtful things. And again, I did a video on that. It's like the Dr. Jackie that started 10 years ago is not the Dr. Jackie that we see now. She would have taken ownership for it, and would have said, this is something that I said, I shouldn't have said it, but she keeps trying to turn it around. And people, they made me feel so bad. That was the darkest time. Instead of just saying, you know what, I should have never ever said that, where people could feel it. And the reason people are still saying things is because it's not heartfelt. And when things are not felt from the heart, people don't believe you. And this is why people still don't believe Jackie, because it's not heartfelt, to the point that she flipped it, and now everybody looking at Quad and Buffy and Mariah. And it's like, even if they did put it out, which they said they didn't, and she don't believe it, but even if they did put it out, it doesn't matter. If there was nothing said, there will be nothing to be put out. Again, no support, no accountability. This is how you know these are not friendships. This is toxic. Another reason you can know is it the gossip. Oh my God, the gossip. And it's like their favorite pastime. All they do is sit around and find out things they can gossip on. And even before season 10, I mean, all those other seasons that they were gossiping. But on season 10, they kept bringing up stuff that they said that, we're sorry, we're going to let it go. But they've never let it go. They never let it go. They apologize. And then at the end, they bring it right back up. Bring back up what happened with the break-in at Toya's house. Bring back up what happened with, saying that this person was liking the contractor. Bring back up that the person was going with the people in the neighborhood. Bring back, I mean, it just keeps bringing things up, the gossip. And then they started gossiping about Sweet Tea. Well, she gets her clothes off the street. So what? Who cares? Who cares where she gets her clothes from? Because when they showed clips in the very beginning, when it started 10 years ago, a lot of them didn't look the way they look now. They look just like Sweet Tea, struggling, trying to find their image, struggling, trying to find out what they should wear, how they should appear on stage, what makeup they could wear. So when I sit there and I listen to them tearing her down, well, I heard that. So what? So what if she gets her clothes off the street? If that's what she want to do, she want to save her coins. So what? She looks nice in her clothes. This whole gossip meal. And then what got me was like, even when Phaedra, she just got on the show and she just slid right into there. I don't want to be on a Titanic sinking ship. It's like taking jabs and sticking people while they're down. Sticking people while they're down. Reminds me, you guys got to go see the movie Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan, because I'm telling you, if you watch it, Married to Medicine, just like Mean Girls. Another way you can tell that this is a toxic relationship, when everybody want to have self-importance. Everyone is so important that think everything revolves around them. The world revolves around them. Dr. Heavenly, a lot of times self-importance. And it's like each one of you are important in your own right, but want to tear one down because you're just a housewife. And oh, you're a doctor, you think you're above people. And oh, you're a dentist. I remember at one point when even Dr. Jackie was telling Dr. Heavenly, oh, you're just a dentist, you're not a physician. Just tearing people down because I am more important than anybody. This self-importance. And the thing is, this show was supposed to be about showing Black women in a positive light. And all I'm seeing is just tearing each other down. Again, I understand it's about the ratings, but sometimes you can just go too far. You can just go too far in the things that you say. And then the constant downers, there's always criticizing others and raining on the parade. Like I remember when Quad was trying to do her pup couture, I think that's what it's called, pup couture, and different ones was talking about that. It's like, it doesn't matter what they do, they'll tear it down. So when you look at all of this, do you think they're really being toxic friendships or mean girls? Or like I say, are they just being nasty? Are they just nasty people? Just nasty people. So what can we take away from this? Just something so simple that we can take away from all of this is surround yourself around friends that lift you up. Surround yourself around people that support you and that you genuinely care about your well-being. Life is just too short for toxic friendships. So surround yourself with people. And you can notice when you notice those red flags, because I always say red flags don't turn green. If you see any of these traits with people that's supposed to be your friends, realize that these aren't friendships. And I understand on this TV show, it's a reality TV show. But the thing is, they say we're friends outside of this. I'm like, really? You guys are friends outside of this as you tear each other down? You're tearing each other down, but you're saying you're friends. And so, what we learn from this is to pick your friends wisely and to know who your friends are. So, that's all I just wanted to just talk about season 10 of Married to Medicine, because it definitely reminded me of that movie. And in the movie, they were portraying the girls as animals, like tearing each other apart. And that's what you can see. And this really wasn't just tearing people, just tearing at each other. And I'm like, this is so sad because, I thought when it first came on, I thought this was a really, really good show. And I know some people are saying it's good because the ratings are going up because they're tearing each other down. But I mean, it's like you're really going below the belt. And with Sweet Tea first joining, I remember when a lot of them came on and they remembered how it was to try to struggle to fit in. And instead of trying to help her fit in, and I know she says things like these are old people, grandma, my auntie, and whatever. She says that out of trying to have, she's trying to get back at them. She wants to have a comeback, a clapback. But she's really hurt. And even when she told them she was hurt, they just continue to go on. And what they'll do is they'll talk about something that's personal to them as a reason why I did this. Especially Dr. Simone. I'm just listening to her. And it's like, you don't like when people say negative things about you, but you'll go on and on and on. And like I said, her defense mechanism, when she starts yelling and screaming, she know people are gonna stop talking because they can't out scream her. And so I can go to each one of them and how they've been very toxic and the negative things. But when it comes back to them, it's like, you know what? I got to get them back. I got to get them back for what they said. And so let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Married to Medicine. Like I said, I like the show, but sometimes I think they go below the belt. I think that it's starting to become more like the Housewives. And that was supposed to be the distinction, is that they weren't like the Housewives. They had another level of professionalism, but the more each show, it's like the more dirtier and down in the dirt and how we can drag, the more the ratings. And I would hate to think that now we got to really go to the gutter for this show to be successful. So let me know what you think, your thoughts, and we can keep this conversation going in the comments. And here's another video that I did. I did one with Quad saying, Quad, they don't really like you. One with Dr. Heavenly. One with Dr. Jackie. So I'm going to try to put both of them up and look at them and let me know what you think.